Viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
We gotta come up with a new intro.
I hate that song.
It's time.
What do you mean we need a new intro? That's like one of the greatest songs ever written.
I love the Queen, don't get me wrong, you know, love my friends overseas, but we need something, that's a dead meme, as the kids say these days.
Ugh, fine. Find something new. God.
We'll come up with something interesting. But yes, good evening, Original Guide to Spooky Empire, OG, and before anything else, of course, the disclaimer, as always, we are not official Spooky Empire. For official info, spookyempire.com, and affiliated blah, blah, blah. We are not a family-friendly show. We say shit and fuck, and we talk about adult topics, and so put the kids to bed. Our opinions are our own, because
Glory holes.
Yes, glory holes. We're going to tell you where the best glory holes were at the Hyatt. Stay tuned. But yes, we see now I lost my train of thought. Thinking of glory holes. Yeah, we're longtime vets.
It's that easy.
Yeah, it is that easy. So longtime vets. Everything is from the fan perspective. So official spooky. Blah blah blah. If you're gonna get pissed off at us, get pissed off at us. Leave the staff alone. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so that works. Yeah. I'm assuming if you're watching this show, you should know by now. You know, it's no lawsuits yet.
What the fucking hope?
Yeah, no cease and desist letters just yet. So yes, this is part 2 of our recap of the spring show at the Wyndham. What a show it was. So we're gonna say, hi Rob, how you doing? What are you drinking?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
Important.
And I'm drinking a vodka soda. And the soda is tangerine sparkling water because I'm bougie.
Pinky's out, Rob.
And I got it from Winn-Dixie. That's how bougie I am.
Ooh, yeah,
Well,
that's a blast.
I'm backing you on that because I also got mine from Winn-Dixie. It's the only place I can find it. I love these seltzers. They're the only ones that don't taste like hot garbage. So Malibu Splash, and it's Chris Butler, like my favorite artist, Chris Butler, and I's favorite drink right now.
I'm down with some Malibu, so all right, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm feeling you. I like that. So anyway, hi Carly. Yeah. And then we have a special guest with us. Some of you remember from Spooky. Some of you may know her from Creepy Kingdom or Corsets and Cuties. Woman Around Town, James Dillon. Hi.
I get around. Hi.
James, I have a question for you because I thought before I knew who you were,
Yes.
I swear I saw you doing maybe comedy with was that you?
I actually do improv, not stand up, but yes.
That's okay. And I knew you did improv, but I swear I saw someone, maybe it wasn't you, but they were doing a joke about getting laid while in cosplay. So if that,
that's not a joke, that's a lifestyle.
it was. Well, the end punchline was something to the extent of like, look, I'm in full costume, you're not getting anything. Maybe a hand job if I take off the glove. That's
Nope, not me, but that's pretty great. No, I do improv with Mama's Comedy Show, and I'll talk more about that when we talk about Fringe.
cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ooh, see, and today we learned we're not only entertaining, we're educational. I like that.
And I'm not only drinking, I am eating a very bloody rare steak prepared by none other than the fabulous boyfriend.
Ooh.
Nice.
No,
Uh-huh.
But
I'm a
see,
kept woman.
where's my pool boy? God damn it.
Also, just FYI, we've got 2 other co-hosts. Mo is in the chat, and Mo
Hello.
is talking about Czech Cola. So first of all, Mo,
Oh, I love you.
We
Mo
love you,
is
Mo.
hospitalized, folks. Mo would have been here today, but the doctors and the nurses have strapped him to his bed. He's got
And said
Nurse
he's too
Ratchet
fabulous to
looking
appear
over
on
him,
camera. Yeah.
and not young Nurse Ratchet.
I gotta show up in slow motion, break him out.
Ooh, yes, Operation Get Mo. I like this. I'm on board for this.
And Robbie's also
Hey,
in the
Mo.
chat, and a whole bunch of other people, Craig and Chris and Randy. So hi, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, kind of mini spooky reunion of such. Speaking of which, last week we didn't actually get to talk to Carly about how her spooky was.
No, yeah, that I passed out, guys. It was Mother's Day, and I was outside in this
Oh.
heat. It did not go well. I was in bed the rest of the night. So My wrap up for spooky, amazing to see all of our family again. It was pretty fucking magical, but the mundanes were out in droves. I've never seen
my
so,
God.
like, it felt like Dragon Con, where there were so many mundane people there that are like, you're ruining my vacation. I'm like, it's 1 a.m. Why are your kids taking shots by the pool? What are you fucking doing?
And she's not exaggerating. I mean, 1 a.m. we did see.
I have to say the story at the top because it's still upsetting to me. Our beautiful Demi was sitting on the side of the pool. She was not in anybody's way. She was literally taking up as little space as possible. And there was enough room with the crowd I was in and where Demi was at for like 3 people arm in arm, side by side to walk by. But this fucking mundane lady she like looked around and kind of assessed the situation and then looked down at Demi and was like, you're in the way, just for no reason. And it was amazing because I was mid conversation and so was Robbie. And something happened where we both went like that and looked and then she and I looked at each other. We were like, fucking bet. You want to start some shit. So I'm not ever one
about that. Yeah.
But if somebody's attacking my friend, I will be the first to be like, listen, you can calm the fuck down.
Aaron.
It was seriously midnight and her like 5-year-old and 7-year-old were still out. And I was like, no. I don't care if this is vacation. Get those kids in the fucking room.
Don't fuck with Spooky, man. Don't fuck with Spooky.
And
Yeah,
then
because it didn't even register because they heard it before it even registered for me because I'm just sitting there people watching. And and then it was something along the lines of what she said, and oh my God, yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
We were both like, huh?
God, fucking normies, man, stay home.
Other than that too, I was really sad. Our room was a little moist at first, but Robbie took care of that. She called the guy to come fix it, and then I broke the shower. Just like tried to turn on the shower, and it just broke. And I was like,
How dare you?
It's so strong.
For the shower, obviously.
Obvious. Fantastic weekend seeing everybody.
Yeah, I think everybody that had a room at the Wyndham has a story of some kind because it's never been this bad. We've been there since 2006, and it's like there have been years, and it's like, okay, we're not expecting for them to roll out the red carpet, but fine, it's a party hotel.
I've got some info on that.
Well,
My theory is that the CEOs of Wyndham were like, let's not put money back into the hotel. Let's just put money into our pockets and fuck all of our people and not give them enough hours to do the work they need to do.
I like this. I can get on board with this. But well, James, you got some dish, huh?
Not really some dish, but like I know there was a lot of issues with the hotel, and I saw a lot of posts and stuff about it. And my room was personally okay. There were a couple funky things, like we had a hotel with the bunk beds. It was a family suite because I had my daughter with me,
Sure.
and there were no blankets,
Oh,
just sheets. That was a little weird, so we had to call for that. I thought it was weird when you checked in. They told you that housekeeping would not be coming during your stay, and then if you needed anything, you had to call the front desk, which was interesting. And the bracket on the back of our door in the bathroom had been ripped off and not replaced. So I was like, okay.
see,
Not a big deal. But when I was talking to some of the hotel staff, because I hang out in hallways and do that, they had talked about they were not prepared for our weekend. They had just been literally brought back to work like either that day or that weekend, and their systems weren't back up. They weren't staffed for us, which is ridiculous because the hotel room is booked. So it's not like we all just showed up and were like demanding on their resources.
Yeah, it was a special event that the hotel, the brass at the hotel was made aware of.
And we were there in December, so they kind of knew what people, I mean, we've been there forever, but on the hotel side of things, the people who were actually working did say that they hadn't been trained, briefed, whatever, brought in with enough time and resources to adequately service as we usually have. So that was a big part of the, I guess, the lack of what we usually get, especially in the food offerings, which was interesting with that one little sidebar over by the panel room. And yeah, so I just always usually eat outside the hotel anyway, because $7 for a hot dog is bullshit.
Yeah, and especially you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, I God knows how many horror stories of food poisoning from. Yeah, we always recommend to not eat.
But it's a hot dog.
So close to food, there was so many options right there that it was like awesome. I just walked over these.
Yeah, you go to Wawa, exactly. but like I was talking to the guy at the food thing because I just had to grab something before a panel, and it was $7 for, you know, a hot dog or chicken fingers, and that's it. It didn't have chips, it didn't have fries, it didn't have a drink, whatever. Are you laughing at me being mad about the food? My boyfriend.
Wow.
You know, I'm a chunky girl. I get upset when my food's messed with.
Oh, yeah. That's just
So, you know, on that side of things, obviously Hyatt's going to have more offerings, but we all know the price too is involved in that. So
you pay for what you get. It's as simple as that.
Well,
Well,
Hyatt is better. The price is, it's the same hotel curve for any food. I mean,
Yes.
that's the reality. There is no deal. No one has ever gone, boy, I didn't even come close to spending my hotel restaurant budget. You know,
and
that's
yeah, and the thing at Hyatt too is that the other options are not as close as the Wyndham.
True. I think my favorite location ever was the Rosen, and that was it. Like, because there was a great bar at the Rosen. There was like a little ballroom, so we could have an actual big party if we wanted to inside, and the rooms were nicer there. That one was my favorite location.
With the addition of like Uber Eats and all that stuff, I think we've gotten a little bit more options for the Hyatt rather than having to go out off of property.
if I may say that for the record, as an Uber Eats driver who has had to deliver to hotels before, meet your goddamn driver in the fucking lobby, you pieces of shit.
Well, listen, I'm gonna brag real quick because if you room with Robbie, you don't need an Uber Eats driver because that bitch had a toaster. She had a microwave.
oh
She
yeah,
brought
no,
into the hotel
she's
room.
a
I was like,
boss. She'll be sitting there making stew and shit, man.
Yeah, I
Look,
bring everything.
Anna, do you want to use
Same
my
thing.
stuff? Like, you had everything. It was amazing.
Same thing. I pack up everything from my, you know, and I also have like my little snack pack because I'm never in my room after I leave in the morning because the day is booked.
Mhm.
But the only thing in Tampa, I did get Uber Eats ice cream because, you know, sometimes you got a craving.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it was
We're
interesting.
gonna have to dedicate a show to like all the restaurant options and Uber Eats and whatnot at the Hyatt because it like Jamie said that there really isn't a lot around there. I mean, sure, it's all I drive, but I mean everything isn't necessarily within walking.
It's not
distance.
within, yeah.
And now the Hyatt is special that it's kind of at the end of where everything is. After that, you've got the convention centers. The McDonald's is not far,
Denny's
but-
isn't too far either.
but yeah, so the
Absolutely.
Denny's is right there.
Denny's still exists?
Hmm?
I haven't seen a Denny's in 10 years.
Then you girl, you ain't going to the good places.
There hasn't been a Denny's in these parts in 10 years.
If you go right down on Lee Road here in Orlando, you can get yourself a moon over Miami.
Oh my goodness.
It's all about the Superbird, folks. But okay.
Oh, bless
Anyway,
your heart. Okay.
Bless your heart.
Oh, and that's the thing. We're really glad that we have James on because, you know, she actually not only emceed the costume contest, but there were a number of panels where she got some inside info about some of our
Let me
celebrities.
tell you.
Can
My
we just go
goodness.
straight to the money shot and ask about Tom Sizemore?
We love Tom.
Oh, Tom.
We'll build up
love
to Tom.
Tom.
We'll
Let me
build
back
up to
up from
Tom.
there. Let me back up from there. I am also the media person for Spooky, so I get to go, you know, to the newspapers and to the podcasts and do the TV shows and stuff like that when we're talking about Spooky. So I'm kind of Spooky's face hype person. So I'll go out and, you know, let everybody know about the event and talk about all the things that we want attention brought to. And that
Sure.
includes, you know, the appearances of celebrities. So I get really excited when our panels are announced because Kid and I really are the only two hosts left. We do have a couple people that we're training in to do maybe pre-show stuff. That way we get a little bit of a breather in October. But between Kid and I, we bid on which panels we want, you know, in our particular preference order. And then when we're assigned the panels, it's the ones that we've wanted, hopefully. So when the ones get canceled, they happen to be two of mine.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the first one was Michael Biehn, and I had just made a Kyle Reese t-shirt,
Oh,
motherfucker.
Oh,
And I will say he is not welcome back at Spooky. And I don't think Petey will make that a secret either.
you know,
oh, no, not on the last episode. Petey did not mask his displeasure.
He does not
Oh,
want to mince words.
He's
Yeah,
just like, fuck Michael Biehn.
will not mince words. Okay, so here's the thing about the celebs when they come in. You know, they're given their flight, they're given their room. They make money on their autographs. They make money on their photographs. So there's that, you know, the interaction with the fans obviously is a big deal.
Sure.
I love that kitty. But
Carly's naked pussy. Yeah.
on spooky side of things, you know, we want something back for them being treated so well. And that would be in the form of being present at the VIP party and the panels. Because obviously time away from their table from doing the panel, they won't make money.
Sure.
An appearance at the VIP party is always requested. It's never something promised to the VIP attendees. And if anybody was there this past year, Warrington Gillette was there for a while. He was a lot of fun.
I've heard nothing but good things about that guy, man.
Such a great guy, but I don't think anybody could get rid of him. He's very, very friendly, very, very lovely though. My daughter's looking at me. What do you need? You just saying hi? She looks like Mavis from Hotel Transylvania right now.
Love it.
Love it. She's so cute. I'm so proud. Anyway, so when a panel is canceled, that's canceling something that they were doing for us. So that was kind of a bummer. He didn't cancel his appearances during the weekend. You know, he still made his money and he made a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like he was at his table all the time. I saw a line for him constantly. Yeah.
Exactly. And apparently when he was meeting the guests, he was lovely with them from what I heard.
That's what
I slowly walked past his table and glared at him.
So he just didn't want to be a team player at all then.
At all. He was a motherfucker. So there's that. And PD, you know, I think he even said this in the show that he did with you guys, that they almost came to blows. So we know he doesn't mince words. So if something's up his, you know, has upset his
no, PD, he doesn't shy away from telling the truth. That's one of the things.
And it's unfortunate too, because he is such a draw, Michael is, for his past you know, movies and whatnot that people love him from. I personally, you know, spent hours researching and watching movies and coming up with questions and stuff like that for the panels. And I don't know if people realize this, but we do a lot of work on our own to host those panels, even if people are only 30 people are there. Those are the 30 people who are huge fans, who know your intimate work, who know your huge work, who know all the ins and outs of your work, or even casual fans who just experience, you know, who just learned about them. Like my daughter,
Terminator.
A new generation. Tombstone is her favorite new movie. You know, she's 11 years old. So, you know, for somebody to not honor that, which made them the celebrity, that's kind of a bummer.
That is a big middle finger. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, do you
now,
Mandalorian pushback? Like, do you think because he was on the Mandalorian, or do you think he's always been a problem?
no, from what I had heard was he had some stuff in his past that he didn't want brought up, drinking history. But that doesn't make any sense to me either, because I've had panels with people who've had porn in their past. I've had people who didn't want things talked about, Christina Ricci, and people talked about it anyway.
Exactly.
And I've had people who have certain things that they absolutely have to talk about before they will talk about anything you want to, Linda Blair.
Sure.
So that's up to me as a host, and that's up to me with my experience to wrangle that and to finagle that. Tom Sizemore, obviously, we all know that he has a past. We'll get to that. But I knew going into that, being a person who did my due diligence and did my research, that, you know, I would have to navigate those waters. And without even giving a chance to do that, it kind of bummed me out. So, you know,
no, you're good. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So that was a bummer. The other side of that with Richard Dreyfuss, that's something we have no control over. If on the celebrity side of things, they're scheduling or they're shooting a project or something, you know, leads into the time where they were going to come and hang out with us, there's nothing we can do about that. That's, you know, their management side. And
I didn't even know that his was canceled.
Yeah, we had Richard Dreyfuss. He was going to be my Sunday panel. And, you know, he was a big draw because he's a big name and people obviously love him, especially after his appearance a couple of years ago when he was there for his 70th birthday. And he was such an amazing,
that was very cool. I did hear a lot of stories.
Amazing guest. Yeah. He had an amazing panel, really, really cool to sit and listen to him talk. And the way he handled his crowd was really fun. He, you know, bought ice cream for his line at one time because it was so long. Just genuinely somebody that we love at Spooky that we want to definitely have back.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't even know. That's interesting. Okay. Well, see, like I said, educational as well.
Yeah.
I don't really go for like the celebrities. So Richard Dreyfuss, like, oh, that would be cool. And then he had to cancel. And I understand stuff comes up. I can't hold that against the con or even him. Life happens.
No, exactly. And it really bums me out when people give PD shit, or Gina even, that, oh, I was coming for this celebrity, now I want my money back. Listen here. It's under no control of the people who run Spooky, whether or not your personal favorite person actually shows up, whether or not they're a good person, whether or not they're going to have a long line, how much their autographs and pictures cost. That has nothing to do with PD, Gina, or anybody else who runs Spooky. That is all on the celebrity.
I feel like that's one of either entitled people who are coming or it's newbies. Because if you've done cons at all, that like they could be
rolling the dice. Yes.
Pull up, they could say they're going to be there, and then that very day, they're like, their flight didn't come in. There's a hurricane somewhere. Something happened. They can't make it.
Absolutely, so, it's kind of one of those act of God things, like they have no control over. So
real quick, just
like you said.
Oh, sorry. We've
Go ahead.
We've got another former co-host in the chat right now. Say hello to Big Daddy Mike.
Big Daddy Mike, when you coming back, bitch? We miss you.
And Mike's bringing up the same point. It's like, these people never done a convention. People actually still complain about this before. It does tend to be the, going back to what you said, it's the newbies. Because like the last time I really remember like grief on a massive level was Norman Reedus.
Rita's Gate. We remember Rita's Gate.
You will never live that down. That and then the Elvira Pop.
Oh God. I still have my shirt from that because I survived
that was brilliant. I love the shirt.
I love it. But that's the whole thing. That's one of the reasons that we actually started this webcast, is to get that information out there from the fan perspective and let you know, hey, you know what? You're not guaranteed. But here's the thing. Spooky has always, and I don't work for Spooky. They always go above and beyond to do their best to make sure you have a good time. So if somebody cancels,
communication.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on that, Demi, that for anybody who has only been to Spooky, you've been spoiled, because there are big box companies who have bought up a lot of the mom and pop conventions. They're soulless. They're fucking boring. They don't give a shit. You could literally get stabbed and they'd be like, sorry, what do you want us to do about it? Like, they don't
Why'd you get blood on our floor?
Exactly. We're gonna fine you for that. Like, Spooky is still very intimate, which is why I'm still attending. Because I don't go to Dragon Con anymore because you're completely faceless. It's too crowded. I don't go to MegaCon because it's like going to Walmart. Like, it's just horrible.
It is.
You know what? I have the unique perspective on that Spooky was my first con. I didn't grow up in the con world. And then I got to go to MegaCon with Press Pass because I write for Creepy Kingdom. And I was surprised at how distanced everything was. I didn't realize that you couldn't go up to the celebrity and talk to them like you can at Spooky. They had like the guards there, that if you got to see somebody walking to and from their table, that was like a rare sighting. With it, Spooky,
and one of the things I will tell you about MegaCon that they've done in the past few years, and I know a bunch of other conventions have done this as well, they'll actually charge premium prices for certain panels. So not only do you pay to get in the con, for some of the panels, you actually have to pay extra to get into those panels.
I don't know.
So, PD and Gina and whatnot, you know what? You could have that like MegaCon. MegaCon screws you, nickels and dimes.
I don't know if Mega's doing that. Dragon Con does it now.
And I'll tell you guys a little secret from the host side of things. Hosts don't get paid. So your panels that you're paying for, that's the celebrity making the money. That's the con making the money. Those hosts are not getting paid. So people bitching that someone doesn't show up at Spooky. You know what? How about you go pay $100 and $225 extra to get a VIP seating at, like, I don't know, a Firefly screening or something, and then they don't show up. Then what are you gonna do?
Buy one of the cameos from the people you want to talk to and do it that way, and don't show up and clog up our con with your bullshit.
Boom,
I'm not trying, I also don't want to try and sound elitist or anything, because I do want, and I generally think you guys do too, you do want Spooky to be a love all, welcome all. Because
it always has been, and we were talking about that on the last podcast.
It already caters to the marginalized people who are the outskirts of what the norm is. I don't consider myself a huge, live, breathe, love Halloween horror person all the time. That's kind of my aesthetic. That's what I lend to pop culture, the darker side of that kind of stuff. Anytime that any of the celebrity throwbacks come, that's my deal. Whenever The stars from the 80s come in. It's, that was my generation. That's mine and Petey's generation. Exactly. And then to get to the new generation excited about all that stuff too. So you don't have to
You
be.
have some problems there.
Me?
No, Carly.
Oh, yeah, no, Carly's
she's got
being.
problems with her pussy over there. I didn't know what was going on.
I'm being fully molested.
I mean, there's
My
worse
hair-
things.
I mean, yeah, it's a problem, I can't get rid of all this pussy flying at my face.
Just get paid for it.
Real quick, just a couple of comments in the chat.
Yeah.
Eric just announced that he got his tickets yesterday for Corsets and Cuties at House.
Yes.
Nice.
I can veer off of spooky for a minute if you want
We
to
can
talk
jump
about
around. Go right ahead.
And
Go
just-
right
and
ahead.
Okay, no worries.
One other thing I wanted to add, though, just about the panel thing. Reg just mentioned that MegaCon is charging for the Lord of the Rings panel. Saturday night general admission is $20, and again for the panel, front row tickets $75.
But you have to buy a ticket to be at MegaCon first, then buy a ticket for the
Yes.
panel. You
Yeah.
can't just attend the panel separately. I missed Beth, I thought, did a way better job of it, but I mean, they were getting ready to retire, so they sold the con, and I completely can't blame them for that.
Sure.
But man, it was a different thing. I was going to MegaCon at the age of 12. So
Yeah, my daughter's been coming since she was 4.
Yeah.
So back to your friend Rob, who just bought tickets. Yay. I am in a burlesque group called Corsets and Cuties. I actually run it. We're coming up on our 7th year, and last year we were voted Best of Orlando by Orlando Weekly. So I'm very proud of that. And we are entering, we're entering our 6th year of the Orlando International Fringe Festival. And Fringe opens next Wednesday.
I'm sorry, James, I'm listening, but I'm distracted
I
here.
know, I'm watching it too. I'm like,
just not usually this aggressive.
wow.
So
So
many
we
jokes,
open-
so many jokes.
We open next week, and
Yes,
Fringe
Fringe,
is centered downtown, down in the Lock Haven Park area at the Shakespeare Center and the Orlando Rep. But there are a couple of venues that are off-site, which is not even a mile away. And my venue is House on Church Street, right across from Hamburger Mary's. And then there's another off-site venue called the Abbey. So if you're going to shows around Orlando for the Orlando International Fringe Festival, make sure you look at all the venues that are involved and all the offerings. Our show is called Delicious this year.
Yeah, I was like, I
Two
personally
very
wouldn't have
important
guessed it.
questions real quick.
Sorry.
First of all, Carly, someone has asked, which cat is that?
That's Medusa.
Okay, so Christina, that is Medusa. And James, I want to rewind just a tiny bit. For the people who don't know, what actually is Fringe Festival? What is
Okay. Yeah, sure. So the Orlando International Fringe Festival is the longest running Fringe festival in North America, celebrating 30 years this year. It is a unjuried, uncensored festival of whatever show you want to put on a stage. You basically enter your show idea into a lottery. When the lottery is drawn, either you get in and you put out whatever show you want to put out there, or you're not drawn. And you can literally see some of the best theater you will ever see in your life for $12 maximum ticket price, or you'll see something that's an hour long that you spent maybe $5 on, and you'll say, what the hell did that, what just happened? And both of those experiences is great. Some of it is regular theater, drama stuff. We've got mashups, like there's a show that mashes Shakespeare with Reservoir Dogs. So that's a lot of fun. We've got several different burlesque groups that are performing, and each one of them will be different. Lots of musicals. There's Judas, which is, a little bit of a different take on that story. And there's some local celebrities, I would say, in town that have risen to fame because of their Fringe shows, notably Blue Star with her Varieties troupe, and Tamisha Harris, we know her as Tush, and she had Josephine recently, and this year she has Josephine and Gracie, which continues the story of Josephine Baker and her friendship with Princess Grace. So you never know. Everything at Fringe is a delight. It's live. It's somebody's passion being put on the stage, and nobody gives you rules of what it can and can't be. You just have 60 minutes usually, and then it turns over to the next show that comes in.
I was going to say, for people that are going to be going to Spooky and they need their weirdo fix between now and Spooky, that is the best way to do it.
Yeah, Fringe is
100%.
great because it's another space where all are welcome, all are loved. It's the creative individuals, it's the oddballs, it's the theater kids, it's the tech theater kids. You buy a button and the button supports the actual running of the Fringe.
Yep.
And then whatever tickets you buy, that money goes directly back to the artists. So anybody who buys a ticket to my show pays my cast, which we love.
Yeah,
This year there are a few safety guidelines. The capacity has been lowered to half capacity. So venues that seat 60 are only able to sell 30. So there is an opportunity this year to tip the shows as well to try and make up for that loss of revenue.
That's really good, man. I actually can't wait. I mean, some of the ones you were talking about, I actually hadn't heard of before. So no, I am definitely very interested because like I said, you know, those of you that are spooky weirdos, this is a great way, you know, to get out of the heat this summer and actually see something of people and connect with people that you'll probably see at Spooky or you've already met at Spooky.
Well, if you guys know Dina Bina, who runs the volunteers of Spooky, she runs the volunteers of Fringe. So you'll see her running around. So we are all kind of intermixed that way. There's an outdoor stage where anybody who schedules a performance can get up and play for free, and it's a pay what you can. There's the green lawn of fabulousness, which where all the food trucks gather and everybody goes and sits and talks about shows and you know, promotes shows, and that's where the beer is. So you know, we invite everybody to come out and see some really fun stuff, and you know, maybe you'll be inspired to join it next year as a volunteer or as a performer, or you know, you'll spread the word and invite people who've never been before to come and be a part of it.
Yeah,
And Big Daddy Mike is just,
legendary.
yeah, and Big Daddy Mike in the chat just asked, so who wants to go with a single gray fox to Fringe?
Do it. Come see us at house. Our show is called Delicious, and it's burlesque, but it's burlesque in the vaudeville style. We have a lot of fun. It's very funny. We have guys in our troupe. We have girls in our troupe. We have singing. We have dancing. We don't take ourselves very seriously at all. We just want the audience to have a good time. And I get a lot of people that tell me after the show, oh, this was my first burlesque show and it was so much fun. We don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. We want you to come along with us on the ride of ridiculousness that we do.
Ridiculousness. I like that.
Yeah. And my tagline of the show is definitely, you know, I want people to come and have a good damn time.
That's
very
really
nice.
cool.
I know that Fringe runs in Tampa as well, but it's more theater based than burlesque. Burlesque sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, Fringe here is definitely theater based. There just happens to be a couple of burlesque shows in the lineup. I think there's something like 83 different shows this year, and of those, 3 are burlesque. So definitely theater based. Tampa started just a little while ago, so they're growing, but you'll see a lot of shows from Orlando go to Tampa, and a lot of shows from around the country and actually around the world will come because it's an international festival and anybody can enter. It's just a matter of whether you get drawn out of the hat during the lottery.
That's really fucking cool.
I like it because you will see incredible shows that you don't get a chance to see anywhere else.
Exactly. Or you'll see a show get its start and then it'll make its way to off Broadway, like Bitches of the Kingdom did here in town, which turned into what was the name of it? Disenchanted. Thank you. And that made it up to New York off Broadway. So, you know, little things get started here and you never know what they're going to grow into. And they have a kids Fringe. So just like Spooky has a kids opportunity, there is opportunities for kids on the weekends to see theater that's geared towards them. There's also Visual Fringe, where there's artists from all over who enter their artwork, and it's online this year so people can see all the offerings online and buy those art pieces, and then they'll be shipped to them.
Sign me up. I don't have enough.
Right?
I need more wall space. You know,
there's some really cool artwork too, like mixed mediums and things that are, you know, that showcase pride, or people who are theme park employees who have another talent on the animation or artistic side that do this, you know, as a second income. So especially after this past year when everybody's been laid off, we're really trying to get back in the swing of things and pay some bills.
Yeah, support your local artists, please, and especially your local entertainment. I know a lot of people felt like it wasn't essential, but I do costumes and entertainment, so it's been pretty damn dead for 14 months.
Yeah.
But how happy was anybody without all of our live entertainment? That's the thing you hear back out there. They're like, I want to go to concerts. I want to go to theme parks. I want to go to shows. I want to see burlesque. I want to see all of these different things. So we might not have been essential, but we are essential for the soul.
And look, folks,
absolutely.
If we go through something like that again, this show this is as entertaining as it fucking gets. So, you know,
We're
this
more
can't
entertaining
be
than
the
Grindr.
only thing left on Earth.
This and
Stay
Grindr, that's
entertained.
all you got.
Insane, Rob. Joining you guys' crew during quarantine helped keep me sane.
Well, and thank you for joining us.
It kept me out of jail, so you know.
Let me tell
made me
you,
happy.
burlesque online, when we were doing it, when everything was quarantined and we were locked down, we did a couple of shows, a cyber burlesque, and it was interesting because I had to learn a whole new way of entertaining, a whole new way of hosting, a whole new way of technology, but it wasn't the same. So we are more than happy. We came back with distancing. We came back with masks. We came back, you know, keeping distance from the audience, and the audience being distanced and half capacity. But we just got the go ahead and perform without masks as long as we're on stage. So I can't even tell you what a difference that makes. I'm so excited. We open on Wednesday. We have 4 shows, and everybody can go online to orlandofringe.org to get tickets. Now the audiences will still be asked to wear masks just to keep things safe for a little while longer. But as long as the performers are on stage, we can take them off.
No, Rob, do we have that option to actually put the link on the screen? I think so, right? Maybe. Yes, no, maybe not.
orlandofringe.org.
There you go, orlandofringe.org.
Okay,
That's
Rob doesn't want to do the work. It's all good. So we're gonna be lazy
No,
and
it's
drink instead.
fine. All right, so you're waiting for the Tom Sizemore stories.
yes,
just-
we want
Sorry,
real quick
Tom
before
is a fucking legend now. He's cemented himself in the spooky hall of fame, man. It just
Yeah.
if you miss Tom Sizemore, you really miss
Ooh.
him.
yeah, and just
See, that's
just
why I tell people,
I
if
heard
you
about
can work it into your schedule to come to the panels. I know it doesn't sound like it's going to be fun sitting and listening to a lot of chatter, but for one, it gives people a chance to ask that question you've always wanted to know, or hear some really cool stories you wouldn't otherwise, or you get a chance to see a train wreck.
yes. You know, I'm gonna let me hold the brakes. I refuse to call that a train wreck.
I was amazing. You're right.
were.
I was
You-
amazing.
And maybe it's because you held him together to some extent. He
It's
went
like
off
trying
a
to
few
throw out Robin
times. He
Williams,
was
you know?
super honest.
Didn't he leave early because of shenanigans? I hadn't heard.
Well, he left.
He had
No,
he had to
was
film.
scheduled to leave then.
Yeah, he had to film.
Yeah.
Okay, so what started, what had happened was on Friday, I usually go and meet all the celebrities that I'm interviewing that weekend. That way they have a face to the name and it's not just a quick meeting backstage before the panel.
Sure.
Make a connection, that kind of a thing. And when I went to meet him, he was wearing a Dallas Cowboys mask, and I am a huge Cowboys fan. My whole family is.
Okay.
So I was like, no way, you're a Cowboys fan. And we went on from there. So I think from that, it kind of disarmed him already, and he let down his guard a little bit. Because we chatted a little bit at his table about that. So when we got backstage during the panel, you know, he had already known me. He was like, oh, hey, and I was wearing my Cowboys mask to match him. So when he got on stage,
Well, let me just stop you there for a second. I heard around the grapevine something about like him tripping as he was coming up to the stage, something like that.
okay, so he wore UGG slippers. He wasn't wearing regular shoes, and you can see it in the pictures. So when he went up the stairs to the stage, his foot caught that top step and he fell, but in doing so, he did a barrel roll.
Oh shit.
And I was like, impressive. Okay. And then he popped up and then he was like, okay. And so the audience was like, was that planned? We didn't know. No, he
Somehow
totally
I
busted
didn't even
ass.
see that. Shit.
He
Okay.
totally busted ass. Yeah, I don't know who filmed the panel, but I know there are people out there with their phones up filming the whole thing. So I'm dying to see that one in the Barry Bostwick panel because that was really fun. So yeah, Tom came on stage and was very sweaty.
Yeah.
He had a Coca-Cola with him on stage, and as he started telling his story, it sounded like it was something that he'd said many times before, and he just kind of from auto memory was regurgitating it. It was very interesting when he got into the racial history of his family, and
that's a little thing I'll never forget. One of the first things when he said, "Oh, my father is what you call a wigger," I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fucking gold."
yeah, his family is mixed race, which, you know, no big deal, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, back in those days, that's what they called those.
Yeah. It was a term that
Anyway,
was
so I just kind of let it go, whatever. And I don't know if you guys noticed during the panel, but he kept hitting himself with the microphone.
Yes.
It was very strange. And my sight line, I see Tom, but then right behind Tom off stage, I see my stage manager going. and so I'm trying to steer him back to talking into the microphone or looking at the Q&A people, because that's getting his attention somewhere else.
Pretty much.
So there was, so he did a little bit of a story. He did some questions, and then he goes to open his Coke, and I was like, let him have his Coke. He's gonna drink it.
Yeah, let him have his Coke.
Yeah, he's gonna drink it.
Oh, and he did.
And he stopped and he looked at me and he goes, I got that. So it was a joke about the cocaine use. Ha, ha, ha. He was really cool about it. And that was almost
very
like
cool about it.
It was like one little moment of clarity where he was like, okay, bitch, I got you. It was kind of cool. But then, you know, as he was answering questions and doing the microphone thing, I don't know if you saw it either, but he was like hitting his penis with it. It was very strange.
Go back and look. Okay.
I noticed him hitting his ear with it a couple
He would
times.
hit his head, he would hit his chest. He was kind of rubbing it on his
Everybody's
ear
got a
while he
thing.
was talking. But then as somebody was answering a question or asking a question, and he had it like down in his crotch, hitting his crotch. And I was like, again, my stage, yes, just like that. And my stage manager again is behind his head off stage, behind the panel going like, and then
You can't buy that shit. You can't buy it. That's amazing.
And then he grabs his backpack because he needed to get something out of it. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's got a water bottle. He's going to show us something in the panel. No, he gets out his cigarettes. He gets out a pack of cigarettes and takes out a cigarette. And my stage manager, again, is losing his fucking mind off stage going, like freaking out. And I'm just thinking, okay, if he reaches for a lighter, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out if he reaches for a lighter. Maybe it was a security thing. He just wanted to hold it. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
You know, it's funny. I've been watching a lot, maybe because I'm an old man at heart. I like to watch like old interviews of celebrities from the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of great people. I watched Vincent Price and all sorts of but they're always smoking in those interviews. And I was like, all right, we're going old school now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, in the hotel, you can't light up. So I'm like, I'm listening to him answer the Q&As. I'm watching the Q&As happening. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck am I going to do? What the fuck am I going to do? What am I going to say? Am I going to offer him something else? What, you know, and then thank God he didn't go for it. But it wrapped up pretty well. I was actually okay with, after that point, there were no more crazy surprises. We had a really good Q&A. You had great timing with your question, Demi. Thank you. Because that led into what his support is, that he promotes and helps bring awareness to with his cause. And then we got to wrap it up. And that's where I found the button. Thank you so much for that. And it also gave him a little bit of humanity back. So I think that was really important.
This really, it was all over the place. I mean, first of all, he's talking about how he's better looking than Michael Madsen and all these other guys.
Yeah. He was like,
their grandmothers can't get the women. I can get the women.
And then I'm trying to lead into his new project he has coming out on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And then he starts talking about how all the streaming services are bullshit and all they have on them is crap. And nobody should watch that shit. And he can't ever find anything good to watch. And I was like, so how about your new project on Hulu?
Oh, it was glorious. He was so real. Everything about him was just, even as crazy as it all was, he was very real.
Yes.
It's crazy to me because the level of substances this man has consumed, and
you can tell.
This is like
so open about it.
Level of bullshit.
Also, too, he's sober.
No.
No. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call completely. I saw the pictures that Demi posted because, like I said, I don't do the celebrities, and the whole time he's just like with huge pupils. So I'm like, oh yeah, natural. That's totally.
So yeah,
natural.
Exactly. The soberness. You know, he credits his wife and Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, yeah.
Saved his life. But it also is the long-term effects of having abused substances will also affect your brain.
I unfortunately had someone in my family literally just like that.
and getting older will also have a double effect on that. I will say there were lots of after hours entertainment rumors.
Allegedly.
Oh no.
No,
Not
there's no
allegedly.
alleged. Trust
I
me.
know, we're just
There's,
saying that for the cease and desist. It just allegedly, yeah.
I think there's enough witnesses at this point. It's no, there's no more alleged, and that's okay.
I'm
That's
trying to
okay.
play it safe, but okay. Fuck it. Yeah.
Let's just say
get over it.
the ladies of the trail might be richer for his being here.
Good for him. You know,
Them. No,
I
it's
just-
not good for him. Good for them. Make that money.
they got stories for life now.
I'm just
Well, they have more than stories. He's been around.
they might want to be tested.
Exactly.
I gotta
But-
give him credit though. Honestly, I gotta give him credit because even in the panel, none of us brought it up, and frankly, some of us forgot. But he dated Heidi Fleiss for a while. So
I
if he
steered
dated
clear of
Heidi
that. I don't know
Fleiss-
if you noticed that. I jumped away from that as fast
I
as I
did.
No,
could.
he mentioned. Didn't he mention it?
he brought it up.
He quickly mentioned it and he said, blah, 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 that was my life. And then I dated Heidi Fleiss and it all went downhill from there. And I went,
Okay,
okay, so
You guys have to understand, for our younger audience members, they don't know who Heidi Fleiss is. So you need to give a little
was a
background.
very infamous Hollywood madam.
Mhm.
She
Yes.
ran an escort service for celebrities and high-priced call gals, and she was
Yep.
one as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so a lot of people who were discovered in her little black book got thrown under the bus when that all came out in the public.
You know, it's funny. Of all the scandals in the world now, that's nothing. But then
Oh,
why
yeah.
did we even pretend that was a
Yeah,
big deal?
who,
It was like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we impeached
a
the
blip on
president
the
because
radar.
we impeached the president because he got a blowjob. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our Puritan days.
Yeah. Remember those days
fun.
back in my day? But I will say, to his credit, he was very personable with his table and his signings and his autographs.
Yep.
He gave us the information we asked for during the panel. You know, he answered everybody's questions. Even my friend Sarah, who had a question about Wu-Tang, you know,
Oh, that
he
was your
answered
friend.
his
Captain
favorite
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang Clan question.
I
Or
did love the
Computer.
answer too, because he was just like,
well,
"What?"
the first thing is he
White
showed
White
up.
Christmas. What's that?
He showed up for the panel, unlike some other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Actually showed up.
absolutely.
Gotta
He
give him
showed
a-
up.
That.
He did his job and he left us obviously talking about him 2 weeks afterwards.
Yep.
So
I love him. I absolutely
Um,
love him. I want him to
I
come back.
was-
I adore
yeah,
him.
I was really surprised by Corey Taylor. I was not a particular fan beforehand. Not my kind of music, and I knew of him and I knew it was a big buzz for him to be there. But meeting him backstage, because I did the pre-show and Kid hosted his panel,
Yeah.
he was
She seemed
lovely.
intimidated.
He was so
Understandably
cool.
so. Yeah.
He was so cool. He
That's what everybody said. He bought a ton of art in the dealer's
Yeah,
room.
yeah,
Everybody
so did Barry
said,
Bostwick. Yeah. He
Incredibly.
went around and actually he went to a friend of mine's booth who makes like custom clothes, and she was real bummed she couldn't be there. Her boyfriend was there at the booth representing. He FaceTimed and talked to her while he was at her booth, and then they were going to give him a shirt. He's like, absolutely not, I'm paying for it. So I know he dropped about $1,000 walking through that room. And
You know,
and
this-
every person he
you're
talked
not
to,
gonna
he was
find that shit at MegaCon. I'll just say
no,
it flat
no,
out.
exactly. He
It's not
reminded me
gonna
of Matthew Lillard, the way that he was with his guests. He didn't
One
sit
of my
behind the
favorites,
table.
Matthew Lillard. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
exactly. He was very personable. His panel was very personable. And that's what we like in our guests. That's another bonus to Spooky, is that we get people who can be real, other than Michael Biehn. And that's another reason to keep coming back and seeing those kind of people. And I think the people who do our shows, the celebrities who've never done the shows before, get spoiled as well, like you were saying before, because you're not going to get that kind of interaction with your fans. It's just a crank machine at these other
Yep.
ones.
Click
You don't
next,
get the time.
Next.
I
Click
imagine
next.
that line like that is exhausting for celebrities as well. I'm sure they
Yeah.
want to take it a little slower, because just go, go, go. That's exhausting. You get overstimulated, you're dehydrated. It's just a fucking terrible time overall. You were saying that Corey Taylor insisted on paying for everything. I have had the misfortune, because I am not into sports ball. And when I worked retail, I ran into a lot of sports ball people at the International Mall in Tampa. And every fucking time they wanted something for free. And these people have millions of dollars and they did not want to pay for it. I
I
can't
never
tell you.
understood that. I never
Yeah.
understood that.
Derek,
definitely, they should be the ones.
right?
Yeah,
Derek,
yeah.
he always
Yeah.
wanted free chocolates at Godiva when I worked there, and I didn't know who he was. And he literally one time said, "Well, don't you know who I am?" And I said, "No, I don't. I have
Sorry.
no idea who you are."
I don't know who you are, but do you have a wallet?
Perhaps if you showed me your credit card, sir, I would know your name.
Yeah.
Ah,
But
Parlay
Barry
has
Bostwick
paid.
was
Nice.
Barry Bostwick was the same way. He walked the floor and he bought anybody who had Rocky Horror art. He bought a friend of mine, Brian's piece. Actually, he went to see Brian's artwork because I sent him over there. Brian didn't have that particular print that day, but he said he'd bring it the next day. Barry was true to his word, came back to his booth and
Wow.
bought that piece of art.
That's
He
awesome.
says he does it at every convention, he says, to give to friends and family as gifts.
That's
So-
so cool.
And his panel was so fun. We just had a good time, and he's a pacer, so he didn't sit down, and it drove me crazy. So I would get up and talk with him, but he was giving out treats from his pocket like grandpa. It was great the whole time. And somebody would come up.
I missed that.
Oh yeah, he's a potter, so he makes pottery and he makes these coins that say "Don't dream it, be it." And he says he leaves them all over town. He's actually from Mount Dora, so he lives here close by.
Oh,
And
shit.
he likes the idea of people finding his little coins of "Don't dream it, be it" anywhere.
I have a new
so-
mission. All right.
He said that if anybody asked a really good question during the Q&A, they'd get the coin. But as people were coming up and asking their questions, he would reach into his pocket and pull out M&Ms or nerd candies or a Kind bar. Yeah, so he was so fun. And then we just bantered really well on stage together. He told about the rules in Canada that he just had for filming. They had to keep themselves like a 6-inch stick apart from the other
Yeah,
actor, and it was really
ball,
weird.
yeah.
Ball. So we had the joke throughout the panel as I would get closer and want to kiss him. We ball. So
Oh.
he'd keep the ball.
Not balls,
But-
like we say, but ball.
No, exactly.
I'm
And
just
we
clear. You're telling me that Brad from Rocky Horror lives in
Yes.
Florida?
yes,
All
he's
right,
in Mount Dora.
we are taking a field trip to Mount Dora.
And we're
One of
just
my
gonna walk around and call his name.
He's going to be opening a pottery studio soon. So keep that in mind. And he'll be back to Spooky. He's a friend of ours.
Yeah. Well, for the
And
record,
Carly's about to have a fucking aneurysm.
Carly, I have a picture of him proposing to me
Oh, that's
because I was
amazing.
dressed as Janet.
My girlfriend in London does Rocky Horror, and they did a great production in London. I got to see it, and she's an unbelievable fan. And when I tell her, like, "Oh yeah, he's just down the road," she's gonna freak out.
one of my fucked up wineries is actually just outside of Mount Dora, so I can stop there to pick
Yeah.
up mulberry wine, and then we can just drink and look for coins around town.
Well,
I
after
love
we had the
this.
panel and we just had such a good rapport with each other, I'd see him at his table and I went and asked him a question, and I showed him a video because my day job, I'm a wedding florist, and every year we do a spooky wedding styled shoot. And one year we did a Rocky Horror wedding where Rocky and
Nice.
Frank got married. So I showed him the video, and that was really cool for me to do as a fan. And then my son got to meet him, who has been a Rocky Horror fan his whole life. And he was just genuinely lovely. He gave all of my kids coins, the little "Don't Dream It, Be It" coins. And he said that he's talked to people about me, and people know me now. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So, doing that side of the job and getting kind of recognition from the celebrities when they get
Oh, sure.
interviewed all the time
And
is
not
the
just
biggest
a celebrity, but a fucking like a legend.
legend.
Well,
Yeah, it's the biggest pat on the back.
Before I was allowed to watch Rocky Horror, I watched Spin City.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
and then I was like, wait a second, when I saw Rocky Horror as a teen.
Yeah,
I have a
absolutely.
question about him. Is his hair real?
Yes.
God
It-
damn!
Yeah,
That is
he's a
good-looking
silver
hair.
fox. Yeah.
It's impossibly good-looking hair.
And his eyes are
who are you
piercing
talking about?
in person.
He's got
No,
very intense eyes.
Carly,
yeah.
mine's going
Yeah.
away.
It
That's
looks
why-
really
That's why I'm so jealous, because like that man, he's 70-something, full, thick head of fantastic hair.
Well, he also has a musical theater background. We got him singing on stage a little bit. We did a little bit of Summer Lovin'. He originated the role of Danny Zuko in Grease on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Damn,
He,
we're
um,
learning
he
all
actually
sorts of
was-
shit tonight.
He was nominated for a Tony for that. and he ended up winning a Tony for The Robber Bridegroom a couple years later. But he and John Travolta became really good friends as John Travolta took over that role for the movie and became famous from it.
Now, though, that's some stories I want to hear, but that's
the research I do. That's the fun shit that I find out.
I
And
like that. I like that.
he was in a band called The Clowns with a K, and we played some of that music during the panel, and he all lit up and was excited about it. So
I've actually
we
heard
try
that,
and
yeah.
definitely make it a little bit outside the normal of what everybody else will talk about.
Oh my
when a
God, this-
celebrity comes.
Which is something that we say on the show all the time. It's like, if you're going to meet a celebrity, you know what? If you want a genuine experience, and if you can take away nothing else from what we're talking about, when you actually ask a question, go on YouTube, do a Google 101 on this person. Because trust me, if you ask them the same fucking question that they've been asked 20 times a day, they're going to disconnect. And they're just going to
Richard
treat it as a
Dreyfuss
transaction.
offered a challenge at the beginning of his panel. He said, if you ask a question about Jaws that I have not been asked before, I will give you $10.
Beautiful.
And the first
as
person
it
who
should
asked
be.
a question asked him something that had never been asked before. And after she asked the question, he stopped for a second and thought about it. And he goes, I owe you $10. And that was brilliant. And literally at the end of the panel, when we did our spooky selfie, he got out his wallet and handed her $10.
Shit.
I love the of the word.
Now she's got a story for life. This, I'm telling you, people
And
listen.
I've got a story. Obviously, I just told it. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. That's fucking awesome. Right. Yeah, Richard
but we've
Dreyfuss
got-
gave me $10. Jesus.
Exactly. We've got such really cool stuff lined up for October. I'm already ready
We're
for
getting
it to
into it,
be
yeah.
here. I don't know if you guys have had any predictions or anybody requesting people to come to Spooky. We always have the usual suspects of people who are asked, to be there. So what do you guys think for October? What would be good for you?
Okay, you know what? Let's just get it out of the way. I know Spooky hasn't officially announced it. We know Robert Englund's coming back.
I mean, the marketing kind of lends itself that way for the
He
upcoming.
sort of leaned that way too on his Twitter.
When he
It was-
posts it on his social media,
It was
pretty
on
sick.
his calendar on his website, but it is not there now.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if it was taken down to clear up a contract or whatnot, but I'm not going to say yea or nay because I honestly don't know the details of that one. I just know the marketing's lending that way. And I swear to effing all holy Jesus, if I miss him again this time, he's my white whale. I swear to God.
That's
I
the shit. Yep.
Yep, he was canceled for me with the hurricane. He was canceled with me because of COVID. And this time around, if he is there in October, the panel will consist of me sitting on his lap.
And he'll allow it. He'll allow it because he's that fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I mean,
I've got the most gorgeous pinup Freddy costume that I made into a burlesque routine. I've done, Dream a Little Dream of Me as a burlesque routine of Freddy, pinup kind of thing. And it was my ode to him. So he's my one that got away. So
Well, I have my request, he's a new request because I usually go for like 70s.
I'm all about
cult
the obscure
actors.
one. Yeah.
Anyone from,
okay.
but now I have a new one that I wanted to show.
Okay.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh my gosh. He'd be fun.
He'd be amazing.
He'd be fun. Actually, though, he might be somebody from Mayhem because he's an 80s throwback.
He is, but he's. I mean, if you look at he's directed a bunch of like small movies.
Yeah,
There-
he
a lot
did
of-
horror films, didn't he? Like that one where the tag team, like the older gentleman and the girl from high school, are going to try and kill basically the Kardashians. Didn't he have
Yes.
something to do with that
Yes,
film?
that was him. That was him. He did a series of these, like Kill the Red, White, and Blue, I think was one of them. He's done some dark shit. It's pretty. Not
He's
that, I mean,
lived
it's-
some dark shit.
And
yeah,
then we
I mean-
play that game. Is it Bobcat or is it Bjork? You listen to the noises. Wah, 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 wah.
yeah. So plus, and if nothing else, I mean, this guy generally was Robin Williams' best friend. So
Aw.
he's no. He trust me.
Let's not bring the room down.
Yeah, I don't mean to, but like he's got great and just wonderful stories of him and just how everything the man's done. So he's somebody I want on the list one day. I want Bobcat.
Awesome. Demi?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, first of all, Udo Kier. I've been begging for Udo Kier for like 10 years now. And for
Oh
those
my
of you who don't remember Udo
Vampire
Kier,
Daddy. German gay vampire daddy.
thank you. That's who he is. And I've heard like incredible stories. of apparently he likes to drink because he's German. And at night he looks for someone, not sexually, just someone to cuddle with. I want to cuddle with Udo Kier. That is my life goal. I just want to cuddle with him. And I hate touching people. So no, it's Udo Kier. I mean, everything
That's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Blade, End of Days, Christ. I mean, he's done everything. Udo Kier is
The chat has also brought up a few people. Joey Fatone, which, you know.
Yes.
You can see him at 7-Eleven and Dr. Phillips.
Yeah, no, Joey's just around, man.
Joey is
Please,
around.
If you can't get Joey at a place, that's the now let me tell you, Joey's sister is actually in my burlesque troupe, Janine, and she has more talent in her tiny little finger than Joey does. But you know, Joey's the one that made the boy band fame. But Janine is amazing. So, you know, if you're a Courses and Cuties fan, watch our our Facebook page on Courses and Cuties, and we'll announce when she's going to be in town, because she's actually in St. Pete, so she doesn't perform with us regularly. But when she comes to a show,
on my side.
I love it.
All right, so we have.
All right, so Joey Fatone. Who else?
We have another request for a return request. The Dennis O'Hare.
Oh yes.
From American Horror Story.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, he'd be really cool
He
to
doesn't give a
interview.
crap about celebs, and your eyes just popped open.
Yeah, no, Dennis.
It was incredible. I mean, Liz Taylor was such a phenomenal character.
Iconic now. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Danielle did Eric up as Liz Taylor. I need to see them together.
Yes.
And then we have Kathy Bates, you know, in that American Horror Story family.
Yeah.
Well, besides American Horror Story, like, come on, Misery.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
my personal favorite was fried green tomatoes.
Oh yeah, it was great.
That is true.
I think you've all missed out on her crowning achievement.
That is
Waterboy.
Oh God.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher, that's right. And then
Foosball is the devil.
She's the devil.
And Big Daddy Mike just threw this one out. I don't know this name, so hopefully one of you can take it. Kevin Grievous.
Oh, he's been asking for him forever.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. I still want Kevin Grievous. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's talked about it on the show
I've
before.
heard the name and I can't place it.
Again, obscure old school. I don't remember exactly, but I know he's talked about it a lot. And that's something that we do plan on doing in the next couple of weeks. Since we have been at the Hyatt before. The first time we went to the Hyatt, there were lots of tips and tricks that we gave and everything. And
one last name we're just going to throw out there, and then we'll go to Hyatt.
No, go right ahead.
I want to say my names too, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Carly, go ahead and I'll wrap it up with the last in the chat.
I was just saying, I know I'm not going to get this, but he is a horror legacy. We don't get a lot of authors, but Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, is my favorite fucking author on the planet. He did Horns and he did Lock, which is like that people will be familiar with.
Yeah.
He also works on Creepshow, but I want him to be at like a spooky survival because it's exactly his people. And then one that I'll never, ever, ever get, because Petey says all the time, well, they need to contact me, but they make $1 bazillion. They'll still do a con if they're invited, but it's Last Podcast on the fucking Left.
Everyone's been asking for that. So I'm still crossing my fingers as well. You're right though.
Henry Zabrowski, who does Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, is from Tampa. He's from the Clearwater, Tampa area. So his family's here. They'll make it an extra vacation. Those three are a fucking ton of fun. Cabana and I saw Ben Kissel do his show in Orlando. It was amazing. Like, they like coming here. So I'm like, make them come to Spooky. People will pay a lot of money to see them. Like, just their normal tickets go for like $75.
Hey, I'll tell you, if you get a contact with them at all, or you know somebody who knows somebody, reach out to them and give them Spooky's info, because Petey and Gina do everything. So a lot of stuff gets lost or falls in the cracks. And unfortunately, the follow-up, you have to stay up his butt. But reaching out to somebody like that, if it's not really on Petey's radar and he doesn't understand what an impact it would be.
Like a podcast, I know people don't think about it, but especially during quarantine, podcasts
are huge. Yes. Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
And I will just jump on that. Like, Petey, absolutely. If he doesn't know who it is, I mean, we were talking about Corey Taylor during the last. He had no idea who it was, so he wasn't.
Adriana knew who it was. That's why it was, a thing for him. And who's the other one you have?
Yeah, and just real quick, going down the list, a few other names.
There's one more I want to recommend, but go ahead.
Well, Kevin Grievous apparently was the writer of the Underworld series.
That's
Oh,
right.
there you go. Okay.
Oh, and he's the werewolf in the one part of it, the really pretty looking werewolf guy.
We
Yeah.
have
Creepy werewolf.
Keith David.
Yes.
We have anybody from any Tremors movie.
No,
That's
they'd
fucking
all
funny.
be so fun. Jamie Kennedy. Oh my God. Now Napoleon Dynamite was in a Tremors film.
Gosh. All right, and then we'll just wrap this up with Mama says gators are so ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
The medulla oblongata.
Yeah. No, but I will say that Dragula, because I mean that's become huge, and Victoria Elizabeth Black is a local, and she knows how much
Yep.
I adore her. I've been
But
begging
that's her
to
drag daughter too. It's right there.
Yes.
The black people, they're right there.
Victoria
That's
Elizabeth
what I'm
Black,
saying.
please,
If you
please, please.
guys know these people, have them reach out to Spooky, because again, the celebrities are a whole different ball game, and then all the extra stuff that the attendees want, that's important for them to know about. You know, I will say in October, the Film Fest is coming back. We will have a burlesque show. It'll be Vita's, you know, her Vita show will be back.
Yep.
We
I saw
will
her
have,
talking about it. I saw her talking about it on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, what are you planning, girl?"
She
well,
always
I mean, I
comes
don't
up with
want to
something just
say
banging.
contracts haven't been signed, but you know, burlesque will be back. There will be music in the hall with the stage set up again. There's a couple other things being planned as far as appearances and entertainment. The
Either
Tattoo
Muckle Bones
Festival,
or an art show.
obviously.
That would be great.
What's that?
Muckle Bones or an art show, either one. That would be great.
Interesting. The Tattoo Festival will be back. The costume contest will have a couple more categories added to it. We talked about, you know, doing the best group, the best look-alike, that kind of a thing, because October's contest is so much bigger than May's. And the vendor room is almost already sold out. The hotel rooms are almost already booked. People are ready to party. So
Really wish I could make it. I'm so sad I won't be able to attend.
well, even if you can come for a couple hours, I mean, that's
We're gonna
shopping right
kidnap you,
there.
Carly. We're just gonna come and throw you in the car, and that's just gonna be it. So
And
Throw me
Debbie,
over-
don't you guys usually do like a Saturday morning cartoon gathering or something fun like that? You know, that's the kind of stuff we want to bring back because we can. The masks are going to be gone. Hopefully our social distancing will be lessened even more, and we don't have to worry about what we have over the past year and a half, 2 years, and get things back to abnormal.
yeah, she's right. She's absolutely right.
And
But
you
that
want to
actually-
touch on anything else about the Hyatts? I know we just did a walkthrough of it yesterday. So if you know
Yes, I was
scroll
gonna
back,
say, if you guys haven't seen it, check our Facebook page. We did 2 lives. We were gonna do one because we realized the last one we did was 2015. So I was like, okay, time for an update. So we went, and obviously things have changed in the past 7 years. And
Was it on fire?
kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, we come in and there's paramedics and police and fire guys running in and out.
The
And
fire guys are carrying these like industrial crowbar. I didn't know what they were now, but these
Yeah,
super long
like heavy
crowbars,
equipment.
like Jaws of Life type stuff. They brought in a chainsaw at one point.
Like it was in the walls or something.
It was up on the 18th floor. We didn't
Yeah.
really get
Well,
any
all we knew is
detail.
they blocked off entry to the hall towards the convention and the tower number 2, which is the one closer to the convention.
Yeah.
And we accidentally snuck past it at one point because we
I was
just
so accidentally about it. I knew damn well what I was doing.
you did. I was the one that showed you that way, so no, you didn't. Anyways.
Okay.
Allegedly.
And then,
Allegedly.
yeah, after about like an hour and a half of waiting around, they finally let everyone back in, but they said no, there's still no entry to floors 18 or higher. So something.
Yeah. But
Well-
actually, when I stopped and talked to the staff and told them who we were, you know, their eyes lit up. And I said this in the live, but they adore us and they can't wait for us to come back. And I will
Yeah.
say, I've been to every spooky except one since 2004. There is not a hotel staff that is better than the Hyatt. The hotel staff, I
Yeah.
cannot say enough good things about them. They are 100% into it. They're glad that we're coming back. They are so incredibly gracious. And after we saw yesterday, and you'll see it in the video, they deal with so much shit from fucking Karens and normals and mundanes. I mean, somebody was bitching because they had to wait for an hour for an elevator. Oh, do I get a refund? The fuck? No.
Let me
So-
tell you, I do weddings there. So I go there quite a
And
bit
you know.
for regular wedding setups, regular office conventions, that kind of a thing. And the same thing goes for those kind of events. Top-notch staff, top-notch service. The space is always beautiful.
Yep.
And I know you guys are gonna have to book early.
Yes.
Get your tickets early especially if you want to do VIP. PD has got some really cool stuff cooked up. I can't talk about some guests that I kind of have a line on, but
Jeez.
you'll see some famous or some favorite people returning, which is kind of cool and I'm excited about. Wink, wink. And you'll see some really cool cast mashups coming in. If there's any like cast panels that you wanted to see, like reunion kind of things, not necessarily of the horror genre. Keep that in
Okay.
mind. There's also other things that kind of
It's-
lend to spooky.
It's Small Wonder. It's the Small Wonder cast
Oh,
reunion.
Jesus Christ, Rob.
You got it. You guessed it. There you go.
Yes.
Oh God.
That's a rule. She's got to tell you if you guess it perfectly.
Yeah.
My sister Sam, Small Wonder mashup. Okay.
You know, I was scheduled to do the Girls of Nightmare on Elm Street panel, which I thought was going to be a brilliant to hear about all the different versions of their experiences, but
Sure.
you know that unfortunately got canceled. So kind of looking forward to who we bring in and who people are excited to see. And I learn something every year with these actors of stuff I didn't know that I get to regurgitate back and tell other people. So if you haven't been to a panel, please come, because they aren't just sit and listen. If you have been to a panel, please come. Take pictures, post them.
Because you know what? Y'all missed Tom Sizemore. We got to see that shit. You didn't. We got the stories.
And Corey Taylor and Barry
And Corey
Bostwick,
Taylor. Corey Taylor talking about Wu-Tang. That was fucking awesome, man.
there you go.
But yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, like I said, our Facebook page, just check the couple posts before this one. We did a 2-part live. So if you've never been to the Hyatt before, we give you an in-depth tour from the bar to the pool to the cigar area. It's all little secret little, nooks and crannies that people don't know about. Carly?
Yeah. Hi, Con Mom. I don't think I got to make that one. This is the old Peabody, correct?
Yes.
Rectamundo.
Got it.
Yes, for you that are like old school Orlando, yeah, that is the Peabody where they had the ducks and everything. And actually, Rob points out where the ducks were and blah, blah, blah. 'Cause that's a great area for photo shoots. What, Rob?
The ducks are gone.
I know, Rob and I both. We would have
Yeah.
just been sitting there by
I
the
know.
ducks, drinking, talking to the ducks, me and Rob. Would have been
I know we'll get into it as we get closer, but this is one of those hotels where it's not close for you to run back to your room.
No.
And for you to go from the vendor room to the panel room, it's a bit of a trek. So comfortable shoes are important. Drinking water is important.
Very
If you
important.
have,
Cannot stress that enough.
Yeah. if you have mobility issues, scooters are important.
drinking water is a big one, because remember the
Yes.
first night of Spooky, and I don't even know if she was one of ours. There, like 7 o'clock at night at the other tiny pool, there was a girl who was so fucking drunk on one of those chairs that there were 5 cops around her. I was like,
Bless
that's a
her
lot.
heart.
One of
Yeah.
ours. Can't blame you.
Alright.
That's one of ours.
Well,
But,
then I think we'll start wrapping this up. But before we go, we got
I just
one
want to
game,
say again, go watch the Hyatt videos. Trust
Yeah.
me. Go watch the Hyatt videos.
and we will discuss more. And bring a pogo stick or something, because those hallways are long. Anyway,
Scooters.
we're gonna play a little game. We're gonna play a
Scooter
little quick
races.
round.
Can we have scooter races?
What was that?
Yeah.
Scooter races.
Scooter races. Yeah, we'll do scooter races.
We got this.
I like this. Okay.
But today we're gonna get back to dead or guest. We'll get there, because Carly, I know you love the game. The inventor of the game, she loves it. But
Yes.
today we're going to play a quick round of Disturbed Friends. So the way
Okay.
this works, we ask you a question and we give you an A, B, or C. The rest of us have to decide which you just chose. Is it the answer A, B, or C? And then you'll
How
tell us
fucked up
what
are
the
you?
answer is,
How
and
fucked
then
up
we
do you
learn a little
think
bit about you.
Yeah.
So let's see. Well, this is just the starter question. Just this won't count.
Who's it for?
You have to guess which one of these I would pick. So I think the creepiest line to pick up a girl in a club is A, hey, does this napkin smell like chloroform? B, the voices in my head told me to come talk to you. Or C, I wish I was your tampon. So now you have to decide which of those I would say.
I'm going to say the voices in my head.
Well, no, okay, sorry. It's not what I say. What I think the creepiest line to pick up a girl is, although coincidentally, I would use the creepiest one I could come up with because that's my go-to.
Yeah, tampon is the creepiest one. That one's really fucking weird.
Okay.
I was gonna say C. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I would say I would like to be your tampon. That's
No girl wants to hear that.
you don't know that. The right girl does though. That's
And that girl is probably not somebody you want to be with.
Unless you have a Red Wing sort of thing, it's,
My dad calls him a vampire
there's a
teabag.
subreddit for that. There is totally a subreddit for that.
all right. And yeah, everyone is playing along. Yep. Oh, they're enjoying this too. All right. So yep, folks, that's how you play. And if you pick C, yep, you win. You win a great big prize. Yeah. Okay. I'll find a tampon for you. Anyway, so who wants to go first? James,
I'll go.
No. Okay, here we go. Which of these would you select? The morning after a night of binge drinking, I usually A, change my puke-filled sheets, B, continue drinking, or C, head to the walk-in clinic.
I'm gonna say it's B, because if she's in entertainment, she can handle her liquor, and she's like, guess what? We're gonna follow this up with Bloody Marys and mimosas. Like, let's keep going. That's my guess.
She's right. I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna go, yeah.
And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say A. I'm going a little different. Just playing the odds. I'm going with puke-filled sheets.
What was the chat room saying?
What's the chat room say?
Chat room is they're all over the place. I honest to God, they had selected all three answers several times over.
I will say I don't have the puke issue, although I've had friends stay over who've peed on my things being really drunk that you people might know. And I won't say it's C because if you have everything, you don't need to go to the clinic. So I'd say
was not expecting that, but well done. Okay.
no. I'll say B, hair of the dog. Absolutely.
All right, that was the most popular one, but it was very close. There was a lot of C, a couple A there. So.
That shows you what people think you think of you.
No,
James.
I've been very lucky. I've never ever had to deal with any kind of clinic situation. I'm very proud of myself for that.
Basically, anyone that chose C just basically called you a whore, just so you know. So
No, you can be a whore and still wrap it up too. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's
True.
see. God, there's so many good ones here. I'm gonna go with theme for Carly. This is a theme question. If I was having rough sex on Halloween, or if Carly was having rough sex on Halloween, it would A, be inside a haunted house, B, involve mutant costumes, or C, incorporate pumpkin pie.
I'll refrain from commenting.
I'm gonna go B, just because I know Carly has had some X-Men cosplays in her past.
She has. Magic was highly popular, and she's a big magic fan.
Goblin Queen, yeah.
I'm gonna say A. Get that fog effect in there.
I'm gonna go with B too. Jess, you got me thinking. So
Okay, what's the chat room say?
the chat room is there again. They're throwing out everything. Okay, Robbie just said A, B, and C.
That's exactly it. Robbie fucking knows me. It's D, all of the above.
All right, there we go.
Just taking some of that pumpkin pie, putting it on.
That's gross, man. The consistency, man. The consistency.
All right, and
Delicious
the last one for dementia. I have been arrested for murder. In order to convince my lawyer I am insane, I will A, bite his neck and pretend I am a vampire. B, start screaming, the power of Christ compels me. Or C, start twerking while spraying shit all over his briefcase.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with A. If it was like early dementia before I even knew her, I might go C without the shit. But I'm gonna go with A.
Okay.
I can see you flat out, you just pop those vampire teeth in real quick.
Yeah. So A, bite his neck, pretend I'm a vampire. B, start screaming, the power of Christ compels me.
Okay.
Or C, twerking while shitting all over his briefcase.
I'm gonna say B because it doesn't involve touching anybody.
Good
And
point.
she's probably got the costume to do the power of Christ compels you.
Shows up in her con mother outfit.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good idea. Okay. I like that.
The overwhelming, well, let's see, A is popular. B seems to be the most popular for this in the chat. I'm actually going to go, I think, with Demi, she's going to commit and she's going to go to C. She's
My
going to
girl.
shit all over the place.
No, see, shit is not my thing. Not to mention, I don't have an ass and I can't twerk. So that just pretty much goes right out the window right there.
I'm
But-
sorry, have you not walked behind you? You absolutely have.
And
Absolutely.
how drunk were you? All righty. I actually am going to say A, because I may or may not have a vampire fetish thingy, sort of, in a
All
roundabout.
right.
I think you could sell it, girl. I think you could. They'd be like, she is a vampire.
Yeah, no, I'm full on violence. I'm going full on violence. I'm Blade ripping out the fucking jugular and shit. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, those were lovely answers, everyone. Thank you. I feel like I know you all that much better now.
Yeah, I can't believe you chose C. Jesus Christ. I'm shitting on you tonight, just so you know.
Not your lawyer.
All right, so we're wrapping it up, huh?
Yeah, we're wrapping it up. I think we'll save this deck for more. There's plenty more where that came from, but we'll.
Oh, yeah.
One thing, I have some podcast suggestions.
Okay.
Want to know about local horror happenings and horror happenings for haunts across the entire country, and
Yes.
about writing and everything like that, go to A Scott in the Dark. Somebody I work with, Scott Swinson, we should have him on here at some point. And then my dear friend Kitty does an amazing podcast that both Robbie and I have been on. And Demi, I'm looking at you.
Oh, I like
You're gonna
Kitty.
have to in contact with, yeah. She does Women Talk About Horror, and that's an amazing podcast. And then she does like subgenres. James, you might like that too. I'll have to get you.
subgenre.
I got to do one on Final Girls and Penny Dreadful and how disappointing the finale of Penny Dreadful was.
Nice.
It's a really fun. She's an amazing host. She's got like the NPR thing down, and so you get to be like the funny person in it because she's like she keeps you on track.
I love her. I love her. No, I gotta listen to this now. I had no idea she did podcast. I am 100% in. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
because you got to meet her at Spooky, and she's a delight.
Yeah.
And James, any last places we should look or?
Yeah, actually, I just got published today. A few minutes ago, it went live on the creepykingdom.com site for a review of this past spooky event. And you can check out all my previous Creepy Kingdom articles from last year, including a series of spooky weddings where we did our spooky styled shoot for the wedding industry here in Orlando for the past like 8 years. So you can go back and see all those really cool pictures and how we did it and that kind of a thing. Read my reviews about different haunts around town, and just check out Creepy Kingdom in general because they're really fun people and they're really good friends of Spooky. They're the ones that did the documentary Foolish Mortals. So
Got it.
good
Yeah.
friends of
I
ours.
was gonna bring those up, but we got distracted. But no, you're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
right. That
You can check
documentary
me
is
out there.
amazing.
I'm a writer there. And then, like I said, Mama's Comedy Show, we're going to be at the Orlando Fringe doing one night only. Or Courses and Cuties, we have 4 shows in the Orlando Fringe. You can check out all the Fringe schedule at orlandofringe.org. And then for Corsets and Cuties and upcoming shows and interesting in things that we're doing in the community, that's corsetsandcuties.com. And I'll see you guys in October hosting all those panels, doing the media fun stuff and the costume contest as well.
Just
And we will
listen
post
to me
all
rattle
these
those
links
off.
on the
It
page
just
later. if anyone
exhausts me.
wants-
What? One more time?
I was like, no, you exhaust me, James. You just get this and this and this and this and this. Jesus Christ, I can barely get out of bed in the morning.
I'm not really awake.
God.
I'm actually sleep talking right now.
Proud of you. Next level shit right there.
Seriously, that's serious next level shit, man. You got my utmost respect for that because Lord knows.
And we
She's
will
one visioning this whole thing.
Yeah,
This is just
yeah.
a projection of her.
Oh yeah, my God,
No.
that's fantastic. But
We'll
yes,
post all of these links that we discussed. They'll be in the on our group page later to this evening. And with that,
And one more
Ciao.
time, just so if you haven't been to the Hyatt, check out our previous post. I'm telling you, watch the tour, especially if you want to know about the fire and shit burning down and police running in and out. You want to see the action, you got to check out the live
Book
video.
your room, buy your tickets.
all right.
Yes,
Good night,
now,
everybody.
now.